I love it. This is just perfect, right on time. Here we go. Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
All right, we can call the El Portal Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force meeting of September 15th to order at 4:08 p.m. And we'll start with silent meditation and the pledge.
Second.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic
for which
it
it
stands,
one
nation,
under
under God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice
for all.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, thank you. And right before we go to roll call, I just wanted to welcome Matt to his official first one, and welcome Alex as well. And of course, always Mr. Gladwin. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Nickerson, for roll call.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. We're going to do roll call. Member Valencia is not here. Member McLean?
Here.
Webb?
Yeah.
Vice Chair Fruitstone?
Present.
Chairperson Carpenter?
Present.
Chairperson, you do have a quorum. For the record, we do also have Mr. Hugh Gladwin, who acts as a consultant. We have Mr. Bernhardt, who is from Biscayne Park over there, as part of the ecology board, or ecology board. And so that's us. All right, we don't have the chief with us today, do we? I don't think so.
No chief today. I know. I thought I missed him when I was welcoming everyone. I'm glad I didn't.
I know.
Yeah.
The chief's dealing with we're having a situation that's ongoing in the new annexation area next to where the Kavisa development is going to go, next to the skateboard park. Those apartments over there that we annexed, we have some crazy situations going over there. We have we can talk about it's public record. We have one tenant in those apartments. We have one tenant that doesn't like the landlord. So he's going around and he's doing it like he's cutting everybody's cable. He's cutting like all the he's cutting all the electricity. Like every day he cuts the electricity to all the apartments.
Oh my God.
Like crazy. He's pouring sugar in all the residents. He's pouring sugar in all their gas tanks. Like he's
Sorry, where is this? Where is this happening?
The annex area next to the skate park over by the new area. Yeah. He was cutting people's brake lines the other day. He spray painted all over the entire apartment building. Like he spray painted just like random things about like the landlord. So it's a crazy situation we've been dealing with. And it really kind of like went to his head like last night, this morning. So she's
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
The one thing he isn't, I don't know if you can hear me, this mic probably.
Yes, we can hear you.
The one thing he's not cutting off is the guy who plays his stereo at top volume day and night is blasting right now. So maybe
there you go.
You're not even getting any benefits.
There you go. Yeah. So that's what he's dealing with. So, but we missed the chief. Maybe he'll probably try to be on later.
Yes, we always understand, certainly. All right, well, let's jump right into approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes? Actually, before we do that, no, never mind. I can talk about my thing in unfinished business. Does anybody have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, I wanted to add one more item, and I wanted to put that after H8, so this will be the new H9, and I'm going to call it RTZ Rapid Transit Zone.
Okay. RDC Rapid Transit.
RTZ.
RT.
Rapid Transit Zone.
Okay, any other changes from anyone? No? Okay, was that it, Mayor Nickerson? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's it for me, yes, thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of H9 RTC Rapid Transit Zone?
I motion to accept the agenda with those additions.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
The motion.
Perfect. All right, thank you. All those in favor of the agenda as updated, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the agenda is approved. All right, approval of minutes from following meeting. Any changes from anyone from last meeting's minutes? I know it's been a while now. No? All right, can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Aye.
All right, all those in favor, hearing a motion in a second, all those in favor of approving our minutes from last meeting, say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Moving on to F, acknowledgement of visitors and special presentations. I actually think we already hit this point. We have, of course, our newest member, Matthew Webb, Mr. Bernhardt from Biscayne Park, and Mr. Gladwine. All right, good and welfare. So now that we've acknowledged everybody, any comments from any non-task force members at this time?
Well, let me just jump in right here. So I got a call from member Valencia earlier this morning after I sent out the agenda, and she said that she's going to play it by ear. She said she just recently, in the past like week or two, got a new job. And so she said, you know, in the past, like she really hasn't been able to attend anyway. And she said that she's going to play it by ear. She wants us to give her a little bit of time. She wants to play it by ear and see if with this job, she's not going to be able to attend anymore at all. And if that's the case, she'll resign. And you know, we'll have to find somebody else eventually, or if she will be able to do it at 4 o'clock going forward. So we'll keep I'll keep an ear out for that. I'll reach back to her, and hopefully by next meeting, which is probably going to be, which is scheduled for the beginning of October, the first week in October. Hopefully by then she'll have a definitive answer. We'll know what we can do with that. Those are her seats. Just wanted.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that update, Mayor Nickerson.
See her? She's trying to bite me because she's hungry. Oh,
she's here for good and welfare.
She's here for good and welfare. She's like, I'm hungry. Eat me.
Okay. All right, we'll move past that. So we can go ahead and get started with the main agenda. I know it looks long, but this seems like one of our shortest agenda items.
Let's see if we can beat our record. Let's see if we can beat our record.
The record you set when I wasn't here, right?
What's the record?
An hour.
I wasn't there.
It was 1 hour.
1 hour.
It was 1 hour. Okay.
Let's go.
One meeting I missed, and I listened to the recording, and everybody called me out for having not hit the 1 hour mark. So we started late today. Just pointing that out. All right.
We did.
So can you go ahead, Mayor Nickerson, and just explain H1 and H5 together, because it's presumably the procedure is the same for everyone.
Absolutely.
Until we get to 6.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate that. H1 through H5, you guys. We're at the point, every year we have to get to a point where we put in our bylaws where we're going to ask the task members if they want to remain, if they want to step down. It's the task members' choice if they want to continue in the task force for the next year, or if they want to step down. And so we're at our year point, Madam Chair, as you so correctly pointed out in our last meeting. So we're going to take it individual by individual, and I'm going to ask them, and they'll give me a yay or a nay. I'll ask them if they want to remain in a continuation status on the task force, or if they don't, if they would like to step back or step down, that is their choice. When we get to H6,
so no individual action from the task force as a whole, just the person in question.
This is just the person in question, because the task force, there's nobody up for a vote from the task force. It's not that far.
Okay.
So this is basically just through me as the representative of the council.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So I'll let you run 1 through 5 then. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. All right. So H1, task force member appointment continuation status, Mr. Matthew Webb. You can give me a yay or a nay. Do you wish?
Seeing as I've just started, I'm going to say yay.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Very easy. That is H1. H2. Miss Sandra Valencia, she's not here today, and we know her status, and we'll revisit that at another time. Task force member appointment continuation status, H3, Miss Kristen McLean, yay or nay?
Yay.
That was a little hesitation, probably like a half a second.
No. Yay! Yay!
You know what it is, Alexander? I'm blaming you now because she's over there in Biscayne Park. Don't be pulling her away from us now. I'm watching you, Alexander.
I got my eye out. I got my eye out.
You know, she's a superstar. We all want her. All right, H4, Task Force Member Appointment Continuation Status, Miss Maribel Houston.
I will do yay. I am the hesitant yay because I am quite busy, but I've made it work for a year and I think I could stay another year. So I'll say yay.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Task Force Member Appointment Continuation Status, Miss Elizabeth Carter.
Yay. Yay to the previous yays and yay to my own yay.
We appreciate that. And so we have the same voting members that are back for another year, hopefully the entire year. Right. Thank you very much. Moving on to H6, if I may, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
So H6 and H7, this is the task force vice chairperson and the task force chairperson. If you remember, when we first came to be, we voted on the vice chair seat and we voted on the chairperson seat. And the way that we did it, we'll take them one by one. We'll first do H6, which is the vice chairperson seat. And so what I will need from a member of the task force, I will need a name that we will, motion as the vice chair, and I'll need a second for that name as vice chair, and then we take a vote on that vice chair individual. If we have two different individuals, let's say if we have somebody who motions one person, somebody who motions themselves, motions another person, you can motion yourself, all right? You can motion yourself, but you can't motion and second yourself. So you can motion yourself, or you can second yourself, but you can't do both. If we have two individuals up for the same seat, we'll take them vote by vote. So one will be the first one that was motioned will be voted on, and the second one that was motioned will be voted on. If the first one that was motioned and seconded is voted on, if they make it, then they become it. If they do not, the second one that was motioned on and voted on, they'll go through their vote. So that being said, do I have a motion for anybody for the vice chairperson position?
I would be interested in reappointing Maribel, but I don't want to volunteer anybody to any position. So do we want to have kind of a,
we get to have a
I
discussion.
think I'll open it up to everybody just to chat about interest in any particular position.
Yeah, I would want to pick Kristen because she's more versed and has lived on the river and is more involved because of the Conservancy, but I understand her commitment to the Conservancy. So if she is not interested in it, then I would continue.
I would be happy to be vice chair.
Okay.
To backstop you, Elizabeth.
Okay.
If you're going to stay chair, but I'd be happy to be vice chair.
Okay. Matt, do you have any interest in? I
need to kind of get my head around what the responsibilities are before I, race to the top. So I will. I'll stay where I am for the moment.
Ladder. Okay, so I'll motion then to. I motion to appoint Kristen McLean as vice chair.
I'll second the motion.
Second.
Madam Clerk, I'm going to do a roll call for that. Ms. Sandra Valencia is not here. This is for Kristen McLean as vice chairperson of the Sustainability and Resiliency Task Force. Sandra Valencia is not here. Matthew Webb, yes or no?
Yes.
Kristen McLean, yes or no?
Yes.
Maribel Foodstone, yes or no?
Yes.
Elizabeth Carpenter, yes or no?
Yes.
Congratulations, Ms. Kristen McLean. You are the vice chairperson of the task force.
All right.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Moving on to H7, this is for the chairperson position. Madam Chair, if you want to open it up or whatever.
Yeah, I'll just open that up to everybody. Kristen's excluded now.
Right. Well, I can nominate you though, can I?
Yes. You could.
I'm happy to continue chairing, if that's the will of the task force.
That's what I would say. I second it. I think that you are a spectacular chairwoman, liaison, everything. You're in the know. So I would do the same thing. I would nominate.
Thank you very
as
much. I
well.
do have a
you,
motion in a
Maribel.
second. We're going to the roll call. Member Valencia is not here. Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Foustone,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson McLean,
Yes.
Member Carpenter for the time being.
Yes.
All right, just that quick. Chairperson Carpenter, you're back.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the vote of confidence as well.
One second, you were a member for like a second. There you go.
I don't even know why I started this meeting. I was just a member, right?
All right, so Madam Chair, if I may continue to the next one.
Please. Yeah.
So H8, you guys, I mean, y'all know how I am about equality and just, everything being equal. You know how I am about that. So this is not in our bylaws. The liaison is appointed by the council, but I said, if everybody's up for a vote, I should be up for a vote also. So I put this in vote of confidence and I'm gonna go to you guys. I'll ask for a motion for the liaison, a second for the liaison, and I'll do a roll call for vote of confidence. If there is another council member you guys would like to be a liaison, that you guys would like to motion, what I will do is if that individual wins as far as the liaison goes, I'll go back to the council with the results of that vote, and I'll ask that individual if they would like to be a liaison of the task force. So that's why I put this on here. It's not in our bylaws, but hopefully this is something that continues to stay on every year, because I think it's something that, I think it's good. So.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that all 1 through 8 is a great thing to have just run through every year. I think that that's wonderful. I'll just open it up before we vote to the task force. Okay, I would like to move to appoint Mayor Nickerson again to yay the vote of confidence.
I second.
Okay. Motion got a second. Mayor Nickerson to remain liaison. Member Valencia is not here. Member Webb?
Yes.
Member Fruitstone?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson McLean?
Yes.
Chairperson Carpenter?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much, you guys. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I appreciate it. Madam Chair,
Thank you, Mayor
I'm gonna turn
Nickerson.
it back over to you. I mean, I'll be back in a
Okay.
second, but I'm turning it back over to you.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere now.
I know.
Well, thank you for all you do, and this certainly would not run nearly smoothly without all your background work and active foreground work as well. So thank you.
Thank you, you guys. I appreciate all of you.
All right, so that's the fastest we've ever run through 8 agenda items, and we'll move on to H9, which is now the RTD Rapid Transit. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor Nickerson.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The Rapid Transit Zone, you guys, and this, it's really good that that Mr. Bernhardt is on here, because one of the things that he's been discussing with myself and a chairperson as far as development that he's thinking about and stuff like that. So I've been doing a lot of, I'm on the committee for the county for the Rapid Transit Zone. And I'm on the committee that's kind of like not pushing forward, but it's like the committee discussing it, because one of the commissioners, which is Oliver Gilbert, who is the vice chairperson of the county commission, he's pushing it. And so I'm part of the committee that's kind of gathering the information. But I think that what you guys might want to know about and what's important, and even Mr. Bernhardt with that little farm area you're talking about, possibly developing for green space and, and parking, stuff like that. So the county is about to start to come out with this plan with the Rapid Transit Zone. Now, the Rapid Transit Zone is something they've been working on since like the 1960s. but now, like, I think we have a commission now. Like, we have a lot of young commissioners and like fresh commissioners with Keon Hardeman. Remember, he was a city commissioner, now he's a county commissioner. Oliver Gilbert was the mayor of Miami Gardens, now he's a county commissioner. Raquel Regalado is now a county commissioner. So we have a Keon McGee down there in Homestead, now a county commissioner. So we have a lot of brand new county commissioners. Mayor Levine Cava, she's the first time mayor. So county mayor. So there's a lot of like energy right now in the commission to pick up everything that's kind of like lagged behind and been forgotten about throughout the decades. And so this is one thing that they're picking up. Now, this might not be totally good that they're picking this up. So what they're talking about is they want to start these rapid transit zones where they're going to have these major stops. And for our area, the major stop is 79th Street, where it's going to be that major bright line stop. Now they're saying that they're trying to figure out how much distance from that stop, how many miles from that stop they're going to incorporate within their rapid transit zone, which is going to be high commercial, multi-use. They want like city centers surrounding these rapid transit zone stops. So that when people get off of those that bright line stop is going to be at 79th Street, they want people to get out into like highly developed, modernized buildings, like downtown field type of stop. Which that's why I say Mr. Bernhardt, that kind of like, might, throw a little wrench into developing more greenery as far as like little farm area and things like that. And so two things, the first two things that are coming out of this is this. The first thing they said that we all have to, which I already told the manager, we're working on that right now. The first thing is that every municipality has to submit what they want their floor of density to be. And we submit that. Let's say we say we want our floor to be no more than 3 floors or no more than 1 floor. Whatever, we submit that. They'll agree or disagree. If they disagree, then we'll have to go back and forth and debate with them as far as like what the floor density should be in that particular area. They're not trying to do, at first they were trying to do a density floor for what they felt like for every rapid transit zone, so that every rapid transit zone would look alike, like it would match with one another. But the municipalities, we fought back on that, us on that committee, we fought back on that, and we got them to agree to allow every municipality to submit their own density floor, because we said every municipality has we're different, you know what I mean? So our makeup is different. So that was the first kind of like little win that we got, but they're not dropping that we have to submit a density floor element that we won't go under. The other thing that they're saying is non-negotiable is that we're going to have to pass, once we agree with them on what the density floor is going to, the floor of the density floor is going to be, we have to pass through ordinance into our code and into our charter that no future council or committee can come through and rezone that area after the rapid transit zone has began. So they're saying they don't want, like, once the rapid transit zone begins, it's like all these little city centers that are highly developed. They don't want that a future council or future committee can come in and say, all right, well, we don't want all this development. We're going to rezone and we're going to lower the zone to multifamily housing or single family housing or something like that. So then we start to take away all the city centers around the rapid transit zone. They want it, once it's there, it's going to be stuck there and stuck in place. And that has to go with every municipality's charter.
So what about zoning up rather than down, or just any change in zoning?
No, zoning up, they're for. They don't care about the zoning up.
Right.
We're the ones that we're the ones that said, well, we want to like not even develop, might not even want to develop it at all. And they were saying, well, okay, then you guys come to us with a density floor. And that's how that came about. And then at first, like I said, it was a density floor. They were going to figure out, I think they were doing like 5 floors for every rapid transit zone area. And we were like, well, we're all different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Coconut Grove and Coral, like it's different from like El Portal. It's like some places are different, you know what I mean? So so that's why that's when they came back and said, okay, you guys come back with your own density floor, but we're gonna have to go through it and agree to it. And if we feel like it's too low, then we're gonna fight back on that and da 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 da. But they said those are the 2 things. The density floor is non-negotiable, that we can't go lower than that, and the putting in our charters, passing by ordinances, that no future committee or council can ever come back and lower the density or rezone or down zone those rapid transit zones. So that's all I got, Madam Chair. I mean, for that.
How large is the, if they're going to put it on 79th Street, how large is the rapid transit zone?
So they're trying to figure that out. So they were talking. So one of the things they were talking about was how many miles they're going to go out.
How many miles? They're measuring it in miles.
They're measuring it in miles. Say how many miles they're going to go out. And they said that they want to build these. Go ahead, Madam Chair. Yes.
Oh no, I'm just imagining the size of El Portal. Is that going to apply both, east and west of the train tracks?
I'm not sure. They just said they're going to have the center of the stops. And they said they're deciding how many miles they're going to go out. So
okay, I just was having the thought, if they're going to, this seems like a purely city thing. Like it seems like it should be up to the individual municipality to set the zoning density. But if the village agrees to work with the county on this, my concern would be that undeveloped land gets upzoned, but then developed land gets upzoned as well. So then it changes the nature of the single family houses west of so maybe no one does anything for a while, but if you have the potential to sell your property to a developer and put a high rise,
no, you're absolutely correct, Madam Chair. You're absolutely correct. And we weren't going into this as a friendly partner. And these meetings have not been friendly. And and I've had good interactions with Vice Chairperson Gilbert, but let me tell you something. And I was the voice of reason in the room, because there were the mayors, especially the mayors down south, the mayor of Pinecrest, the mayor of Cutler Bay, the mayor of Homestead, and Vice Chair Gilbert got into a flat out yelling match in the meeting. Flat out yelling match. Calling each other liars, flat out yelling match. So it's not, so this is something that it's not a these aren't friendly meetings. And the county commissioner is like, well, you know what, we have rights. We have eminent domain that we can use if we want to. And they basically told us, like, we're bringing you into this because we want to be nice about it and reach out, but we don't have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like, sorry, go on.
No, they were saying because in the 60s, the rapid transit zone has already passed and been approved. Even though it might not look like what they want, but as far as like having a rapid transit zone in these areas, it's already been approved since 1965 or 66 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think there's nuances that we obviously need the details on in terms of, it can't just be like an epicenter a mile from where the train station is. Is the control around which kind of corridors get upzoned, and maybe they haven't got into that level of detail yet, or maybe there is some kind of preliminary zoning plan, or is that down to us to kind of suggest?
So they asked for our zoning floor, but they haven't decided. The problem is what you're asking about, Member Webb. The problem is they haven't decided their limit as far as how they're going out. So until they decide that their limit as far as how we're going out, then we can't answer those questions, because depending on how they're going out, depends on what is involved, and that depends on what will be zoned, up or down, up according to them the way they want it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a quick comment, and then Hugh, I want to let you get your question in too. I just wanted to point out that the adaptation action area plan that we worked on with the county, it just as a reminder, there was 6 resiliency measures in there, and one of them was developing near transit. So this fits really well into the adaptation action area plan, but other ones were also building green spaces. So I just want to point this potential conflict out to the task force.
Let me just say this, the Hugh, that's right, Hugh guys, go. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Hugh, go ahead.
I'm getting some weird music. Is anyone else hearing it? I think these are crazy mics, but anyway, the thing is, on this whole issue, we already have a really good, strong track record, because back when we did the last charrette, when, Adam Old proposed it from the council and it was started, the county stepped in and wound up paying for the entire charrette. And the reason they did that was exactly because of the transit zone that was going to be around 79th Street. So that whole thing was focused around, developing parts of El Portal, particularly the trailer park area, that would fit into that plan, the plan of less automobile traffic, improved connections to transit. It's very specific on how it worked out in the charrette report of the separation between the residential area of buffering that goes into the design so people in the residential area are not looking at high rise. That's all there. And it's all in the comp plan. It's all incorporated, so we've got to say, look, guys, and I believe Juan could correct me on this, but I believe that plan has numbers of floors, density, all that stuff was calculated for it, so, and we were 100% behind that. It's 100% in all the planning El Portal's done. So I really think, I can really see why other jurisdictions are upset because of affecting green spaces and all kinds of crazy stuff, but we've done all that, and the task force has supported it too. So
yeah, you beat me to the punch, Hugh. That's why I was raising my hand. We had already created all of this with the charrette, especially with what we wanted with the trailer park, the little farm trailer park, and our vision of a downtown area with walkable green spaces, easy to catch a train. All of that stuff was outlined since what was it, 2012 or something?
Yeah,
15,
so,
I believe.
The concern that I have just in response to that is that Mayor Nickerson is talking about changing the zoning. So you guys are talking about what exists now, which sounds great, but if
no, it's not. Except it's not zoning. It's not zoning.
The density and the comp plan, right? So they're talking about changing the the land use. I'll just like to use a broad term. So my only concern is that I'm imagining like dropping a pin on the station on 79th Street and drawing like a circle, a mile around that, which then zones all these single family homes in El Portal as a higher density area. And I know that they're not zones like that now or designated like that, not to conflate terms. But that would be my concern about what I'm hearing from Mayor Nickerson is that we don't want that to happen. But I support it. Implementing the charrette is one thing, changing the charrette is another.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is the comp plan. It's in our comp plan. They can't make us change our comp plan just by some kind of imposed zoning thing.
Well, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, well, we would hope not. This is the thing. They're looking at this rapid transit zone. They're looking at it as give us the information. They're looking at it as starting from like ground zero almost. They're saying, give us what you want, give us what you plan, and we'll decide if we're going to accept it or not. If we think the density you're talking about is too low, we're not accepting it. And they were like, and we have eminent domain, and we have rights as a county over the municipalities. They literally told us that in those words. So all the work that we did, yes, we're going to present that, but it doesn't mean they're going to accept it.
Well, I think I'm sorry I keep butting in, but I think as a start, you should find out from Juan exactly what the density calculations came out from the charrette that are in the comp plan. I've seen all the designs and everything that was done, particularly for the trailer park area, which any developer of that property is going to have to conform to the comp plan, their density calculations, and it's not like super low density. It's definitely, I can't imagine that they would be, maybe they're crazy and they want to put a 20-story high rise every block or something, but
Yeah, and myself and the village manager, we've had that same conversation. Everything you're talking about, Hugh, we've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And so we're submitting those plans to them. Let me tell you a couple of more things before we move on.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You guys are good. Let me say a couple more things. Commissioner Regalado did bring up in that meeting, because she says she lives down there on off of 27th Avenue. So she says she rides that Coconut Grove 27th Avenue stop, Metro Rail stop. She says she walks to that stop and she rides into Government Center to like go to work every day, Commissioner Regalado. And she said that the way that she was kind of on our side, she was saying to Commissioner Gilbert, and they got in a little heated argument also, but she was saying, and so Commissioner Gilbert and Commissioner Pepe Diaz are on the same side, basically. And there's a few others on the other side, but she was saying to Commissioner Gilbert and Commissioner Pepe Diaz that although, you know, she lives right there in that corridor where it's going to be one of the first places where they really established the rapid transit zone, and they're starting to prepare for it by building down there. And she said that they're trying to sell this as, once we do this, then, you know, people won't be driving anymore, as if it's going to be New York. She was like, but the buildings that you guys are allowing to be built down there, they have levels of parking garages because people in Miami have cars. So she was trying to make the point that what they're saying is going to happen by promising us, okay, you guys, allow us this density and things like that, and we promise you that we're taking away cars, and you know that you know we're going to lessen cars and things like that. She's saying that it sounds good, but she's saying that in practicality, she doesn't think it's going to work like that. She's like, because people in Miami
for the Bright
drive.
Line? Is it the Bright Line or
it's all going to
Metro?
connect? So Metro Rail is part of the rapid transit zone. There's going to be one down in Holmes. It's all going to connect. There's going to be a rapid transit zone that surrounds one of the Metro mover stops. So it's going to all connect.
Okay, it's not just the Bright Line stop.
Not just Bright Line.
No, it's connected to Miami's rapid transit.
Yeah, it's going away from Homestead all the way to north past Miami Gardens.
It's
all the way up
it's the SMART plan, right?
Yeah, yes, it's part of the SMART plan.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
And so what I brought up in the meeting was, I brought up, I said, I understand what everybody's saying. I said, you know, I understand you guys have different views of opinion. I said, but I just feel like we need to kind of like establish like the roots in the ground. I said, you guys are talking about building up density all over the place. And this meeting was last Wednesday. It was a week ago. It was last Wednesday. We were at the Coral Gables City Hall. We were at Coral Gables City Hall, all of us. It was like 20 of us for this meeting. It's been like 3 meetings or whatever, but the other 2 meetings, like nothing came out of. This is the first meeting that something really came out of as far as like their planning, what they're starting to like think about. And I told them, I said, we have to kind of put our roots in the ground, you guys. I said, all this money you guys are talking about doing rapid transit zones and building up with the density. I said, if we just invest in like septic to sewer, like there's still so many places that have like septic tanks, and we need to convert those to sewage. I said, if we do that first, I said, then it makes sense to then build up on top of that. But why build up things when like there's so many areas that still are in septic tanks? Even down south, as the mayor was telling me when I said this, she was like, yeah, she said, we're on septic tanks a lot. Down south in like a lot of the Cutler Bay area, she was saying. And so I was just telling them that. I said, you guys, you know, it's been out there since 1960s. You don't have to push it out there so quickly because it's not something that's an emergency for us to have a rapid transit zone. But septic tanks to sewage, that's an emergency. So I was trying to tell them, and they said, you know, they'll take that into consideration. They're ignoring me. I'm a small fish in a totem pole, Madam Chair. So they said they'll take it into consideration. But I was like, let's build from the ground up, you guys, so we don't have to tear up the ground later on. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, you guys, that's the latest update. When I get more information, I'll bring it back to you.
That's great. Thank you, Mayor Nickerson. Just to like turn it back to specifically task force stuff, I think that I feel like I have mixed feelings on this because I love the idea of public transit and cutting our carbon emissions and being more sustainable. But I think I think it's just more nuanced than that. So I think we should just think about the fact that we are in support. We sent a letter supporting the 5 or 6 different AAA. Kristen, are you? No, that's not okay. We sent a letter supporting the 6 different, AAA solutions that the county proposed, and we pointed out that we think that there needs to be additional and different solutions as well. But the idea of a green space and the idea of building on rapid transit fit into both of those. So I feel like I need more time to think about that, but I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Okay, anything else on this? Okay. Moving on to H9, El Portal historically designated locations.
So this is something, Madam Chair, we kind of brushed on last meeting. But I know Mr. Gladwin was out of the country. So I put it back on there. I didn't know if he wanted to elaborate. You guys remember I did send out a while ago that email with all the attachments about the historical designations from the county. I'll send it again. I'll find it right now. I'll send it again. But I kind of just kept this on here because Mr. Gladwin was out of the country last time, Madam Chair. So I didn't know if you wanted to
Sure. Mr. Gladwin.
This is the historically designated locations. Is that what we're on now?
Yes.
I think this was about, Adam Olds was on our last call, I think, when we brought this up briefly. Isn't this what was that?
The seawall and the archaeological zone. I think those are the 2 things, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing, the wonderful thing is that
and the old house.
Yeah, there's 3 houses,
Miami Avenue.
Right.
It's 3. Yes. I'll send it right now.
I mean, I think, didn't you guys have? I thought it was wonderful that there was a visit by the county archaeologist who met with you and the manager, Mayor Nickerson.
Absolutely, yes.
And I think, I mean, I had a lot of huge concerns before, but I feel like, my only regret was, well, it's not a regret. I just have to ask the manager for who I can contact to deal with my own problems in that regard. But since my property is massively affected by both the historical and the archaeological right now, but but I think that's really good. I mean, I'm really glad, and I hope we can move forward on that collaboration.
Yeah, and I'll, of course, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, of course.
I'll of course. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not looking at the screen because I'm trying to find the emails right now. So if you shook your head up and down, I can't see it. My bad. But Madam Chair, I definitely will keep the entire task force updated on anything else that comes about with the historic designation. Any more documents that we get or anything like that, I'll definitely send it back out to you guys.
Yeah, and I think the reason, I mean, there's a lot of reasons this is relevant with the seawall and all the other points that Hugh has pointed out. But on that same vein, when we talk about updating our stormwater infrastructure, we needed to address the archaeological thing. So that actually leads us really well into H10, which is stormwater discharges and infrastructure. So I know we had talked about the master plan and the annual reports and all that good stuff. So I think this is you again, Mayor Nickerson.
Yeah, I kept this on again, Madam Chair, because again, Mr. Gladwin wasn't here last time. If you remember last time, I told you guys, because from the meeting prior to the last meeting, we didn't have the latest updated version in a digital format, and myself and the village manager went ahead and did that, and I shared that with you guys. I shared my screen with you guys last time for that. I told you guys I was going to send you the link, but I forgot to do that. I'll do that right now. But I kept this on here because since Mr. Gladwin wasn't here last time, I know that Mr. Gladwin also has his maps that he might like to share, and just because he wasn't here last time, there might be things he might want to talk about or add to this. That's all.
Okay, well, I think I had gotten, and I thought we discussed last time, I got all the maps that had been put up on the local mitigation strategy website. They have a new interactive mapping thing, and if you go there, it comes up with the very detailed maps for you know, the big storm drain construction effort that took place here, which was the last big bunch of money we got out of that program, you know, multi-million dollars. So, but I thought I sent everybody a link to those maps. I don't have it right now. Do you guys remember?
You did, yes,
Yeah.
you did. Thank you.
So that's basically, I believe all those maps are where we are now. You know, in a sense, there's this very vague map of things they might do in the future that's extremely vague. And then there's very detailed maps of what they did already with the, you know, with the design. So I think that's what we have right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. And thank you again for those two. I think that as a follow-up to that, Mayor Dickerson, you said that you and the manager realized that the master plan and the map that it shows all the existing infrastructure not proposed was in hard copy. And I know that it was going to be a lift, but you had talked about whether that could be digitized or not.
Yeah, so we're there at FedEx Kinko's right now. The bill is $2,300 something.
Well, please don't digitize the maps from the engineers, because they're already, those are digitized already.
No, yes, no, I understand.
Okay.
No, it's not those. It's the other ones. And yeah, so it was a hefty bill, but they're being scanned and digitized as we speak. So
that's the stormwater master plan.
Storm and waste. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that's the villages.
Okay, great. Is there any update on the El Jardín area?
No, there's no update. You know, I mean, next month, you talking about with the construction that we spoke about last time, or?
Yes.
Just in general? Well, yeah. So next month, the construction will start. You know, with those catch basins. When we had the whole discussion about the catch basins because of the lack of the direct drainage, because of lack of easement of space for easement, we needed a property and things like that. So yeah, no, but I mean, everything's a go when it comes to that. That's the most, I mean, that's the next thing that's going to happen as far as updates.
I mean, there's one thing I think in El Jardín that's been, I mean, it concerns me every hurricane season because we've been really lucky this year not having one. But if there's a really big one here, which could happen, then a ton of money is going to come down to the county through the LMS for mitigation projects. And we're likely to get one of our big pumps funded through that process. And what worries me is, I think, I can't remember which is which. I think the one in El Jardín is about 800,000 or $1 million, something like that. My concern is if those funds go through, we have to immediately ask for them, get them, and start the project. And I don't think we're going to have the match. You know, so I think it would be good, Mr. Mayor, maybe, or the manager, I guess. I mean, I don't know if they're planning for that or not, but it's been a concern of mine. You know, we desperately need those pumps in the long run. If the $3 million one was funded, you know, we're going to really have to reach out for help, because that pump is actually there to benefit the whole C7 basin. You know, it's part of the whole planning sort of process for what's going to move forward in the future. You know, and I'm concerned that it's going to happen and suddenly, you know, oh yeah, we agreed to put in for this huge pump that benefits everybody, but, you know, you guys, there's no way El Portal's going to get any kind of matching for those things. So that's something that needs to be looked into.
Yeah, I mean, funding is something that, and Hugh, you weren't here. I think it was last meeting when I went through all the funding that we started to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot's coming in. So funding is something that, I mean, it's a daily thing for me. Like it's a daily, like I'm on top of that daily. That's something that I wake up and go to sleep thinking about. And I drive the village manager crazy and insane because at like 3 in the morning, I'm like, Madam Manager, look what I just found, another grant. we got to start tomorrow morning. We got to jump on this. Like, so she's like, okay, Mayor. Like, you know, so I'm driving her crazy with that. So it's funny to something, and I'm saying that to say this: we cannot, as you guys all know, we cannot take funding that we get for something else and hold it and pay for like what he was talking about. We can't do that. No. But what I have started to do is take funding that we're starting to get for certain things, and the line items in the budget for things that we're getting funding for already, I'm taking that money out of the budget and putting it to a reserve special fund, because it's being paid for by the grants and things like that, and we don't need that money on that line item. So I'm pulling it out and putting it to a special fund so that fund could be used for matches later. So that's what I'm doing. Excellent. So, I mean, it's not going to be like you said, Q. Like what you're talking about is a huge sum of money that we'll have to match. So you know, it'll be a while away, but at least you know, I'm trying to do some stuff. But yeah, I hear you.
That's great.
Chief Magnuson, for the record, Madam Chair.
Hi, Chief. Welcome.
How you all
Chief
doing?
Magnuson he's been there. He was on the phone. That little phone that we were seeing was him. He was texting me and saying, I'm on the phone, but I'll try to get on the camera as soon as I can. So we appreciate it, Chief. We missed you earlier.
I heard Mr. Gladwin. I was listening to some good music in my headphones too.
Oh, good. I was afraid it was some problem with them.
It was a little Pink Floyd, but it's okay. It's all good now.
Yeah. I like that.
I told you guys she was dealing with that situation that's you know right next to Hugh's house, so that's probably why they were both listening to the concert. We weren't invited to the Pink Floyd show, you guys.
It's playing now. Do you hear it?
No, I was kidding. It was Dark Side of the Moon.
I think it's these headphones are hooked into something.
Madam Chair, back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, so it seems like we're at a point where we're looking at updates now on things. So, you know, I think Kristen brought this up last time. I think that we need to decide as a task force what we want to spearhead next. We obviously have like a couple things that are sitting to the side that, you know, step 2 to 2, we're moving forward. We're going to keep on, you know, that we're just in a holding pattern for. So in the meantime, maybe that can be everybody's quasi homework for next time, to think about what big things we want to take. Oh, on that same note, the composting program, I was just wondering if you had an update on that. Oh, sorry, Maribel.
No, it's all good. So so the way we're going to do it is, and I already have half of them done, as far as we're going to do the envelopes. So I'm stapling the rubber bands to the envelopes, and we're going to do it like that. You know, I'll probably start passing those out this weekend. Hopefully it won't be a rainy weekend. But we'll just that's how that's going to go. So
that's great. That's great news. Thank you, Mayor Nickerson, and apologies again for having to add the extra burden away from the plastic bags. But I think our river and bay will thank you. All right, awesome. So, I have an update in unfinished business, but yes, Hugh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. This was new business or unfinished business. I want to talk about an action item that you have, but I'll wait till whenever you think I should do it.
Okay, perfect. We just have one thing to get to before then. The next task force meeting, which is scheduled for October 6th. How does that look for everybody? I can't promise this short of a meeting again.
It'll either be, you guys, October 6th. If it's not October 6th, the next one would be October 20th. So it's up to you guys.
October 6th is fine with me.
Me too.
6th is okay.
Yeah, same time, October 6th is fine.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll leave it for October 6th then. And then that's it for, well, let me ask, any task force members have any other main agenda items before we move on? Okay, great. We'll move into unfinished business, general orders. Hugh, before I jump over to you on that, Mayor Nickerson, can you give us the list of any outstanding items we have?
Myself and Dr. Moran, I haven't reached out to her since last meeting, to tell you the truth on that one. Oh, the NPDS report from the manager. And I have here the Little River Historic Designation. Oh, the text notification service. So the text notification service, you guys, you remember, so part of those funds that we're getting in, if you remember, member Fruitstone, part of those funds we're getting in for that text notification service. Remember, we were going to bring it back to committee, but the rest of the council were acting kind of crazy about it. So part of those funds that we're getting in was for technology upgrades. Remember, I was going to put the Wi-Fi and all the, well, I am going to put the Wi-Fi in all the parks and all that type of stuff or whatever. So I'm putting the text notification, we already wrote it in, me and the manager wrote it in, the text notification service going into that pot for that funding. So I don't even got to bring it to council. So I don't even got to hear about it no more. So it's going to happen. So yeah, so it's going to come. So
Yay!
So there you go. All right. So it'll come, it'll come about, I think I have it written down somewhere. I want to say December 1st, we can start using those funds for these things. I want to say December 1st. I'm pretty sure it's December 1st. I think I might have put that in the, I put that in the minutes. Yeah, December 1st. When you look under text notification service, I put December 1st, 2021 for due date. So yeah, December 1st is when that should be implemented. You get the funding can be used for that. So
in that, in the same technology pool, Mayor Nickerson, I haven't fully looked into this, and I was going to send it to you. It's on my to-do list, but in some of the work that the Everglades Law Center has been doing with Miami waterkeepers, we came across a piece of stormwater technology. It's an application essentially that helps municipalities maintain their stormwater systems more effectively to reduce pollutants and nutrients and trash and leaves and things like that. And I thought it was a really interesting system. And I watched like a 2-minute introduction video that talked about you can put, it would be something the village could use internally to address the issues, but also something that could be used when an issue is identified, whether it be like flooding or anything like that, or just a storm drain in need of cleaning. So I just wanted to flag that I would share that for you. I know that you were looking at the technology grant, and that might be something, I will have more information on that. I know this is super cursory, but I just wanted to bring that up, that might be something beneficial for the village that would be in line with task force efforts.
100%. As soon as you get information, Madam Chair, just send it on over to me, and me and the village manager will jump right on it.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, I have a couple of updates, but Hugh, do you want to, on new business, but do you want to hit yours first?
Okay, sure. Yeah, this is something that I should have brought up, I guess, months and months ago, and it's something that's on the action items to bring up with a manager. But I think this is something that really the task force should reconsider, and that's the issue of what do we do when we have an evacuation requiring situation in the village and it's not in an evacuation zone for the county. We've discussed this before. I know there's a lot of discussion with you, police chief, and we kind of said, well, if people's lives are in danger in the village, then the village police department and authorities can ask people to evacuate, even if something hasn't been called, but it's been like a problem, and it's a problem given the fact that the county's evacuation zones don't match the high risk zones in the village. So somewhere last fall, I had this really long informal meeting about all kinds of stuff with Katie Hageman, who knows about most everything. So I brought this up as one thing that we're concerned about, and she said she'd look into it, and then she got back to me, and she said, what you really need to do is to meet with Frank Rollison, who's the county emergency manager, who's just incredibly knowledgeable about everything. And she said he's certain that he would come up with some really good guidance on this that the village and the county would agree with. And, one thing led to another, and I never brought it up again. And now we're in the middle of the hurricane season. But, if this is something that, maybe would have to wait a little more, but if this is something the police chief thinks is a good idea, maybe at some point he could meet with the task force. The key document there is the Little River Conservancy report on flooding in the village that was submitted 2 years ago. And I think all you guys should read it again, just because there's so much in it and it specifies this problem so clearly, and it's all very relevant. But, I think we should all catch up on it and then maybe have that meeting, because I feel like, what came out of that report, if you remember, 2 years ago now, I think, was recommendations to the village on flood policies that the village adopted, but it didn't address that issue. So, I think this should be ready for another go around again. I think it's really important, because at Irma, we came very close to losing some lives over the confusion on that issue, Kristen's life in particular. But I remember being on the phone in that nightmarish night with you as the water was coming up, and
That was
I
a
was,
little crazy.
I was trying to find out how high it would go. But we're very likely to have a situation coming up where we're going to have 5 feet, 6 feet of water in somebody's house, flooding them out, and it won't be an evacuation situation with the county. So I think it's important.
This also raises a point, and I don't know where it fits in our agenda. Maybe it's new business again, but I did want to, I think it would be good for us to revisit. Sorry, guys, to revisit the work that we did a year ago when we started to kick off what the kind of the amendments that we wanted to see added to the village emergency plan. So I don't know. I think the communication thing is part of that, but there's more.
So why don't we add that? We can review that before the next meeting. I think that's a good point, because I remember doing it, but I don't remember the specifics of it. So we can review it and add it to the agenda for next meeting. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. Was that it, Hugh?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt you. So I just have 2 quick updates. I've been attending the many BBCR meetings. If you guys recall, that's the Biscayne Bay Southeastern Everglades Ecosystem Restoration Project, I think it stands for. And that is, they're basically have drawn a line around Miami-Dade County and are trying to replumb the entire water system. I'm overgeneralizing, but that's basically what the project is designed to do. But with the primary intent of supplying more consistent, clean, fresh water to Biscayne Bay. And they're focusing on the north, but the primary focus is on the south. They need more water, and they're trying to figure out where to get that water from. In that vein, there was a big meeting today where the public and the project delivery team members are putting together, I think there's like 400 different options, trying to put together a plan of how the plumbing system for this entire area should work. And they're considering looking at the C9 as an option for providing more water to the southeastern area by Turkey Point. So in that process, I've brought up the C7 as a potential source of water during times of overly high water, not in times when it's needed to, supply the river and Biscayne Bay. But my casual understanding is that the C9 and the C7 drive water from the same place. Nobody at the Army Corps has been able to answer that yet. But on the call that we had today, Katie Hageman was also on that call and brought up this point as well. And of note, her and I didn't separately communicate, but during the the comment period, she stated that she had been meeting with the South Florida Water Management District to address flooding in the C7 basin. So it looks like the county is continuing to work with the district on this. And she brought up the question about whether excess water in the C7 could also be used in this project, and we could get a real win-win for the bay and a win for the area around the river.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so that's something that's being brought up, and I'm attending all those meetings, and we'll keep pushing that point and keep you guys updated. We work with the Everglades Foundation as well, so I'm going to try to talk to their modelers and hydrologists about to see if we can't figure that out. Unless Hugh, I was wondering if you already had some insight into the water connection between the C9 and the C7.
No, it's
On
sort
the
of,
west end.
yeah, it's all there computerized in the system. I was trying to figure out the connections a few days, a month or so ago. It's really hard to do, but they do interconnect way up. But the big problem is, either way the water comes into the, into the county, into the C7, and often excess water. But then there are two big problems that happen at that point with that water. Problem one is it picks up pollutants, which we've been dealing with as it goes through. And problem two is you can't run that water through the C7 and out into the bay without a big gravity drop. It's just there's no gravity drop in the whole canal to make the water go through. So that's why they keep talking about raising the control level to 6 feet, letting the little river go up to 6 feet, because then you've got like 4 feet of gravity drop in the bay, and the water's going to go out tremendously fast. And the faster the water goes through the canal, the faster, the less chance for pollution and the cleaner going into the bay. But as we've discussed many times, 6 feet of water in the river in El Portal means 4 feet of water in about 100 households in the village. So, we keep getting stuck back to that situation.
Yeah. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to try to find out, and I'll keep you in the loop as well, Hugh, because you've got a lot more knowledge on that hydrology than I do. But just wanted to flag that for everybody, and that's kind of the process has been ongoing for a while, but I think it's hitting a more critical point right now as people are starting to put together real plans. And they're talking about putting reservoirs potentially on the west side of Miami-Dade County, like up in our area as well, to store excess water and things like that. So that might be an option. And then obviously the county and the Water Management District are talking about us, so that's good too. That's all my unfinished business. Does anybody else have any other unfinished business?
Madam
Mayor.
Chair, if I may. And I just remembered this. Hugh, Mr. Gladwin, and Madam Chair, you guys might remember back in August, and I think that if you guys remember the last meeting that we had, I spoke about how myself and Dr. Moran were playing like kind of like email tag. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but I think what came out of that, she probably just kind of got tired of me and probably told some of her employees, like, will y'all please reach out to this crazy man because he's driving me crazy. But Mr. Gladwin and Madam Chair, if you guys remember, I got an email and they reached out to me about doing a C7 Canal boat tour, and I included you guys on it. And I think that might have came about because she was like, just do something for him, so leave me alone. But for everybody here, especially Chief, you also, because I mean, I'll probably be with you that day. It's Friday, September 24th. And I believe they're going to start at 8 or 8:30 or 9 a.m. They said they haven't said the exact time yet, but they do need, they did ask me for a capacity head count. So if anybody here is able to go on Friday, September 24th, just email me. And so when I get your email, I'll be able to do a head count so I can give them the capacity head count for that boat tour. So that's Friday, September 24th in the morning. It'll be somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. Okay.
Yeah. That also reminds me, Mayor, that you had sent in maybe connection with that the district is appointing a public affairs, public relation officer that will be meeting with us, which, that will be a person who doesn't have any power to do stuff like, like the operational managers, but, Jean Baptiste, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Before they had more funding, he was in that position, and it was really good. I mean, like the collaboration on the cleanup and all kinds of things were much better with that.
Is he not there anymore, Hugh? Sean? He's gone?
He's not in the county. I mean, the county, he was attached to the Miami field office.
Oh, no, there's a Sean at the Water Management District that I thought was the
John,
person.
John, he was Haitian.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Jean Baptiste, okay. Yeah. So, but I mean, that's a good thing. I think it's not a substitute for Dr. Moran because, she is the chief resilience officer of the district. So in terms of like official legal connections with the task force, she's the one, not him, but it'll still be good to have that link.
Yeah, so I can't make the 24th, but if anyone was considering whether there'd be representation, I'm not going to be able to represent the task force. So if someone else is available, that would be wonderful.
I can do it if I'm not too feeble to get in the vote, but I think
I might be able to.
Well, I'm not against moving the tour to the Paris canals and rivers. I'm just saying. Member Fullstone and Madam Chair and Vice Chair McLean and Member Webb, and Chief and Mr. Gladwin. We want to move this tour, across the pond.
I'll be there.
Tell me again.
That runs right through Paris. I think it'd be perfect.
Tell me again, Omar, what time?
They haven't decided. They said early in the morning between 8 and 9 a.m.
I could conceivably do that.
Okay. We'll probably meet at Village Hall. They haven't said where the meeting spot's going to be. I'll email them again tomorrow just to make sure they haven't forgotten about us. But yeah, we'll probably all meet at Village Hall and then go from there. Or they'll tell us whatever meeting spot they want us to meet at. I'm not sure. So, definitely. All right. So McLean, Vice Chair McLean, I'll put you in. Mr. Gladwin, you're going to be in there?
Yeah, I'm trying to find my calendar, but I can do it, I think.
Thank you, guys.
Chief will probably be at work, Chief. So yeah, I'll be over there with you that morning anyway. So Chief, if you want to go ahead and be a part of it. Member Webb, do you think?
What day was that again? Sorry.
That's Friday, September 24th.
Yeah, I think I can make that.
Yeah, I'll just give them a head count. If somebody, something comes up and somebody can't make it, it's better to have less people than to add people later, So I rather over promise right now.
Yeah.
Send my regards.
I got you. We'll miss
you know what? They can Zoom it for you. You could be like there.
That would be great.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
We could do that. We could create a meeting and I can just put it on my phone and just be like, there goes Madam Chair. You know what? I might just do that.
I'll just get on a boat here and hold the computer and pretend I'm there.
If you do that, then I will have my first graders attend that Zoom.
Ooh.
They'll come. They'll love it.
Look at that. That's a little plan we got going there.
Teachable moment.
And Chairperson Carpenter would probably appreciate that because remember, she was the one asking us for 9 a.m. meetings. So, and that's her time frame right there, you guys.
The earlier the better.
So there we go.
I would love to be there. I actually I'm disappointed that I'm gonna miss that, but I think that's a great opportunity. All right, so I know I've already lost the record, but
don't worry. There'll be more meetings, there'll be more days. I do want to point out that I just want while Chief is here because I'm looking at the Chief and I see a little smile on the Chief's face. And I just want to say, Chief, aren't these meetings heaven compared to the other stuff we have to deal with, Chief? Aren't you so happy to be here, Chief? I just see the smile on Chief's face. I'm like, the Chief feels what I go through, what we go through. I love you guys. I love being here. I love this task force. Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you guys both, of course. All right. Any other unfinished business? No? All right. Any new business? Yes, Chief.
Excuse me, tomorrow from 10 to 5, the Miami Heat were gracious enough to put together a program that will allow law enforcement, those willing, and corrections to vaccinate, but they're also including other frontline workers, nurses, teachers, etc. So that's tomorrow from 10 to 5 p.m. Hopefully we have a big turnout. I'd like to remain optimistic as far as the law enforcement goes. Like I say, I'd like to remain optimistic, but we'll see.
Is that the arena?
Hopefully it's a large crowd, standing room only. But well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Again, kudos to the Miami Heat for putting it together for us.
Awesome. Well, yeah, good luck on that. Hopefully
you.
that works out very well.
Chairperson Carmen had a great question. Chief, what location is that? Would that be at the arena?
FTX Arena, the AAA, the old AAA down there on 6th and Biscayne.
That's what I said, arena. I was like, I know it's not the AAA, but I can't remember what the new name is.
FTX, and I can't tell you what that stands for.
They change it all the time, like Dolphin
like
Stadium. So I could say it's Dolphin Stadium or it's the Heat Stadium,
the Heat Stadium.
or Heat
there
Arena.
Yeah.
I don't try to learn them.
You see, I just say the arena where the Heat play. It's all good. And it's so interesting and very true, Madam Chair. Like a cryptocurrency, it's like a new one pops up every day. And so let me just say,
I think that's what it is.
Let me just say that, Chief, looking at the minutes from that I sent out, from last meeting. Look at that. It's just you're just going right in line because under F in the agenda minutes from last meeting, one of the sentences was. There may also be future involvement with the Miami Heat. I was talking about how you were talking about cop talk last time, and that how you were signee onto Mayor Levine Cava's letter. And then my next sentence here is you said there may also be future involvement with the Miami Heat. There you go. Look at that, Chief. Right there.
Well, it all worked out. I know Miami Cop Talk was very instrumental too in working that and sitting down with the Heat via Zoom. But they were gracious as ever. And again, all kudos to them for putting this together. And the second vaccine date will be October 7th for those that show up. And it should be hopefully a nice size. I'm hoping a nice crowd or something during the course of the day. Maybe not all at once, but during the course of the day. It's very important. I can't stress it enough. I've been hammering away at this since the vaccines came out, and I do get a lot of pushback, especially for my own. A lot of people don't want to take it, but doesn't mean I'm wrong. And I'll keep respectfully pushing the good fight.
You're fighting the good fight, Chief. We appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you.
Yes. Awesome.
Chairperson,
All right,
before we adjourn, Chairperson, if I may, I just want to say the main action item coming out of this meeting is for everybody to think about what is next as far as what you guys want to work on. So that should be the main thing coming out of this meeting that you guys kind of bring back to the next meeting. So just start kind of thinking about looking around to like what the task force should start focusing on next as far as what to like. All right. Thank you, members.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Anything else from task force members on anything? Okay. Good and welfare. I think we're looking at everyone that's on. Okay. That's it. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion that we adjourn.
Thank you.
Does everybody want to stay here? Like, you know what time it is for the chair? The chair's like, I need to go to sleep, guys. She's like, it's late over here.
I second.
I kept my clock East Coast, or my computer East Coast time, so I'm tricking myself.
There you go.
Did I get a second? Was that
Yeah,
a second?
I second.
Okay, great. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Nothing from the chief. Great. Hearing no opposition, the El Portal Sustainability Resiliency Task Force meeting is officially adjourned at 5:27 p.m.
Thank you very
Right.
much,
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Have a
Get
good
some rest,
evening.
Madam Chair.
Thank you,
you guys.
guys.
Congratulations, Vice Chairperson McLean.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
And thank you guys. You guys take care. Bye-bye. Thank you,
Thank
Full
you, guys.
Moon.
Have a great
Thank you,
evening,
Full
y'all.
Moon. I don't know who's
Take
back
care.
there, Full Moon, but thank you guys. And thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you.
You guys take care. Bye-bye.